I'm Mark. We're going to be talking about some difficulties introducing MediaWiki, mainly based on experiences that we had. I'm probably going to be doing most of the talking here, but Gina's up here just in case we break into an argument, which might happen. Oh yes, and a story. I'm sure some of you already know what button we're talking about, but it's a story about a button. So just to give you a bit of information about us, Gina does a lot of work with MediaWiki. I do not. I'm more a hardware guy. I've done server storage, virtualization, a lot of disaster recovery, business continuity planning, that kind of stuff. Gina has been knee-deep in this stuff forever. We also have very different problem-solving styles. Yeah. So Gina and I, we have been friends since first year of university. We met in the same res. She is not from around, well, neither is around from these parts, but she's not from these parts. She's from a different part of the world. And yeah, we've been friends. We've been friends ever since. She has been trying to get me to play with MediaWiki for 10 years. I did not care. I'm sorry.
I don't sound as well. I have to understand.
Then, as we were talking about yesterday, we had the opportunity to set up a MediaWiki for a small local museum. Figured Raspberry Pi would be a good idea, small, and Tina thought MediaWiki would be a great idea, so she wrangled me into doing this. And as I've said to a number of you that you've talked to, she kind of dragged me kicking and screaming into the Then I can honestly say, and I think Tina will agree, that this was probably the hardest thing on our friendship for all 30 years. And this is not an exaggeration. We have vastly different ways of looking at it, vastly different ways of like, I'm still figuring stuff out here. But I'm happy to say the kiosk works great. The people are happy with it. They need to decide. And we have other museums that are interested in wikis now. So Tina, thank you, thought it would be a good idea. We talked about this. All right, to-do list. Yes, I want to thank everybody I've talked to and everybody who's already done a presentation for ruining my presentation, because now I know answers to a whole bunch of this stuff. Yes, right. Okay, so we had to make a small kiosk. Actually, what did you do about this? There you go.
Yeah. So this house, we were making a small kiosk. We wanted to be able to arrange the content into collections. We're not going to have network connectivity, which is making a slightly unusual use case for Wiki. It must be small and expensive and reliable. That's a normal use case for Wiki. The museum is staffed by volunteers, many of retirees, backgrounds with comprehensive knowledge of the stories behind the photos and artifacts in the museum. And we have talked about this already.
Okay. We're still around, so we still like it. So we would have chats. We'd have little chats, and this is kind of just paraphrasing. I did not know anything about MediaWiki, and I didn't understand the wiki way. I didn't understand anything. So these are the kinds of conversations that we would have.
I'm actually interested to hear how other people have done differently, because this did not go as well as it should.
Yes. So you can't argue that MediaWiki is awesome. It's not awesome. It's not in dispute. You cannot say it's not fantastic, because it's, what is it as far as web traffic?
I don't know, like whatever, 15.
Yeah, 50 billion yesterday or something like that, some ridiculous amount. And you see them everywhere. Gaming sites, fan sites, weird, creepy fanfic sites. They've all got wikis. But the thing is, there is, it's not a straight line to get from I know nothing about this to I'm able to do something. And yes, walking up to someone and saying, it's like Wikipedia, that does not help. again, the wiki way, Tina will touch about, it's a different way of thinking. Everybody, I've had a couple of people say, what's under your name here? Well, it's my last name, because when I first signed up, I didn't realize I was allowed to edit the page. So I just put that in real quick. And then I didn't realize I was allowed to edit the page again. So that whole concept right there is very foreign to me, that I can change things. Anybody can go and change things. It's very different.
And mid-conference, change things.
Mid-conference, change things. Yeah. Something that we ran into, particularly with people that we tested with, editing can be difficult. And it's different enough from what people are used to that you can't just sit down, spend an hour, and then come back to it a month later. We'll touch on the next point, functionality that casual, like people who use Word, people who use LibreOffice, sometimes they may be expecting features that aren't in MediaWiki. Configuration files, I would love to talk about that. And the documentation. Everybody has mentioned that at some point or another. It's not particularly friendly, accessible for casual or beginning users. I'm not afraid of command lines. I'm not afraid of config files. I'll rep till my eyes bleed, no problem. But the documentation is difficult. So again, this just goes to show you how much I didn't know about this. Like, oh, look, MediaWiki.org is a wiki. Blows your mind. So, you go to MediaWiki.org, you look at their installation stuff, and I see some Linux distributions also increasingly offer packages for MediaWiki. I am a huge fan of apt. I love it. So, it exists in the Raspberry Pi OS distribution. So, install it. Done. Right? Oh, well, there's a bit more to go, but it's good. I'm done. No, I'm not. I have never been a DBA. I don't know PHP. I don't know SQL. I've never installed SQL. This flummoxed me. So, of course, Tina, who knows all about this stuff, most of the wikis that she set up have been on shared hosting, who handle all the backend stuff. So while you have configured instances, you have not gone and set up SQL. So no problem, I'll just go to their page and I don't know what I'm doing. So whatever. Mark, install PHP by admin. Did that work? No, that didn't work either, because I still don't know what I'm doing. This is not MediaWiki's fault. I'm just pointing that out. This is well, I would like to blame MariaDB, but really it's me. So mess around, finally get to that. Everything's perfect. I go SCP the file over, copy it. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's a wiki. It's a wiki. It's a wiki running a Raspberry Pi. I'm so happy. That's ended a page. All I need to do is just edit stuff. It's as simple as that. Right? Whoa, wait a minute. No, it's not. My wife's a librarian, so she knows all kinds of different markups, all kinds of different cataloging languages, all kinds of, I don't even know what the hell that is. I showed her the formatting page, help formatting page. I don't know how to say this tactfully. She got angry. So one of the things that she brought up was that it says some HTML tags are working here. I said, yeah, of course. And she goes, but which ones? I don't know, some of them. And she goes, well, is there a list? I don't know, it doesn't say. She goes, well, what happens if you mix them? I don't know. She goes, well, people are gonna, what if I'm editing a 4,000 page article and there's italicized characters in there that shouldn't be there? Where are they coming from? I said, that's not gonna happen. Well, guess what? Here's the code. Here's the output. No formatting. Open with HTML, close with HTML. That's nice and bold, just like we'd expect. Open with MediaWiki markup, close with markup. That's nice and bold. Looks great. Open with MediaWiki markup, close with HTML. That's bold. It looks perfect. Open with HTML, close it with MediaWiki markup. That's bold. That's super bold. Okay? Now I understand that the parser has to make some decisions. But what the hell?
Can I just say, I've worked on Wikitext parsing for 11 years, and I learned something now.
I can blame this. I don't know. It's worth the camera. If you're watching, I had a C instructor named Mr. Schellenberg. And Mr. Schellenberg, that's it?
You haven't brought him up yet, Mr. Schellenberg.
Mr. Schellenberg. Oh yeah, shout out to Mr. Schellenberg. He, in classes, we do the exercises, and we feel like, okay, get an input, get another input, add the two numbers together to show me the result. Okay, I can do that. A plus B, C, print C. And then he'd come in and he'd go, well, what's caret plus exclamation point? Right? So I like doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, anyways, this, yeah, my wife is not super pleased about Super Bowl. And then this is a test with bold using MediaWiki markup. It ends the way you expect. Right? Into the paragraph. Test using bold. It keeps going. Anyway. So I got frustrated and a little concerned because my wife was getting angry. So I asked you, can we make this look and act more like a word processor? And she said, are you sure you want to do that? I said, yes. And she said, there's a thing called visual editor. I said, okay, can we use it? She said, are you sure you want to do that? I said, yes. So she installed it. I saw it. I saw the little interface. I thought, fantastic. Well, here's what I put into it, and here's what I'm getting out. It doesn't look the same. And then I tried, maybe I'll put more spaces. Here's what I put in. Here's what I get out. Why can't I? It's not. And I'm thinking, the people that we are going to be introducing this to are going to spend 3 weeks adding more lines to try and get stuff lining up correctly. So I said to Tina, this isn't really doing what I hoped. And she said, yes, this is why I told you we should stay at the source editor. So, okay. File uploads. Museums, they have a lot of data. They have PDFs, they have Word documents, they have pictures, they have, this one in particular has a bison head. They have all kinds of things that they want uploaded and documented and browsable. This is kind of the crux of the issue. Taking someone who is not familiar with anything outside of web browsing and emailing or Microsoft Office and saying, you need to click down here, click on upload file. You need to name it something different than DSC00381157.jpg. And then you have to go back and into the document that you're editing and then put whatever you called it in there. It takes forever to get used to this process. As you get used to it, it speeds things up, but it still takes a while. For me, I'm not good at this. Tina can do pages in seconds. It still takes me minutes. My dad is still working on the first one.
I'm also going to say, like, not being able to just paste a screenshot of into an instruction document has been a huge obstacle for me to move the wikis further in my work environment. Like people are refusing to use step-by-step instructions on the wiki because they can't just say, click this button, cut, zoom out does only this part, paste it into your document. They find that that's like it's a killer. They're not doing it. They refuse to use it because of it.
You're out of frame.
I am now.
So, and again, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, let's say they get it down to 2 minutes, but they have a collection of 500 documents and there's only 2 volunteers. How are they gonna upload all those images? How are they gonna document all those images? So Tina is, in her typical way, was extremely helpful. Yeah, you can write a script to do that. Go ahead and figure it out. Yeah, thanks. We'll get back to that in a second. So I understand now that there are situations running in a hard drive space where you can see a wiki mangle itself very badly. How many people with a properly maintained wiki have seen a lot of data loss? Anybody? No. I looked online, complaints always rise to the surface. I didn't see it. This is a very mature, stable platform. The problem is, what happens if you've been writing something for 2 hours and then the back end craps out? Where does all that work go? It's gone. That could be something right there that will dissuade people from ever wanting to use it. Yes?
They're adding a feature right now in core to support edit recovery.
After this, I'm going to give you a hug.
I want to say it might only work with visual editors.
You might get a fist bump.
Usually the backdoor cache and so like state there probably still there.
So in this, but one of the things that went on here is that actually this was broken by the shared hosting having some filtering against the MicroPython. They were seeing an attack and they had just disabled stuff because of that. So this is not even. And
this is not a MediaWiki problem.
This is only partly a MediaWiki problem. But I've also had people saying, "Oh, I tried to type forever and then it was all gone. I tried to save it, it was all gone." So the single page getting lost, I've heard of many times. But yeah, you don't usually lose.
I will say, I think this will continue to get attention from upstream because we're doing regular failovers to our other data centers, and editing sessions that are in process when you do a failover can hit this.
Yeah.
And so I believe like that's one of the reasons the foundation is investing in making this work. Yeah, right. So
I just want to say it's for wiki text, that source editing, not
source editing.
visual editor. Visual editor already has its own edit recovery.
And yeah,
They're adding it for source editing.
Okay, awesome. Yes, so that was a whole argument right there. So Tina, again, being very helpful, said, I don't know why you're complaining, there's extensions for all this stuff. Of course, she says this while I'm at the museum in the bottom of the concrete steel building in the basement with no network connection at all. How am I supposed to install an extension? Anyways. And it's difficult to convince people that what you are trying to convince them, to use, is better than the WordPerfect 5.1 that they had in '94. That could do autosaves, I think. But if that's coming, that's fantastic. And let me tell you about this button. So everybody knows what this button is, right? Some of us know what this button is. It's installed by the distribution for Raspberry Pi OS. We talked about, probably running out of time, we talked about why we wanted to remove those yesterday. So finding the Powered by MediaWiki button is easy to find. So Tina knows where a lot of this stuff is. I don't. So I'm just going to look around. I'm going to look for it. Main config schema, set up dynamic config. I figured out how to remove it, but I figured that probably wasn't the right way because Tina tells me always use local settings.php. Okay. I see a thumbs up. I see 2 thumbs up. Thank you. So, have the unset wing footer icon slide. Gone. Nope. Just our MediaWiki. So, let's go and see if we can find powered by Geb in there somewhere. And we found the icons, and we found platform settings.php, which makes perfect sense, except never edit this file. Okay. Edit local settings.php. Well, we tried that and it didn't work. So, see default settings.php. No problem. Where's default settings.php? This is a deprecated stub file. Deprecated since 1.39. So if we'd done this a year ago, we would have been fine. This was like 2 a.m. the night before we were going to deliver this. So
That's not MediaWiki's fault.
that's not MediaWiki's fault. No. So let's take a look at main config schema.php. It's 370 kilobytes. That's a large file. And it doesn't even have Debian in it. So, you know what? Forget it. I know it's going to be overwritten. I know. I don't care. And who's Garrett?
The Dutch artist.
But yeah, I know it's overwritten when it's upgraded, but it's an offline museum. Chances are it's not going to be upgraded. And if it's upgraded, either us will remember, we'll remember, or somebody else will worry about it. But the icons are gone. So there was no documentation for it except for a reference on Garrett and a reference in an RFC, both of which have been resolved, neither of which had any further information. So Tina started a page and asked some questions in it, and there was no further information as of 2 days ago.
Yeah, I started the page like a month and a half ago. I actually talked to the person, I sent a message to the talk page of the person who did the RFC, and just nothing ever came back. So there's a stub file for it on MediaWiki.org, but there's no documentation.
So this is kind of the crux of the problem here. There's no information for it. Yes, it's a distribution thing, and I know there's debates over whose responsibility it is, but it's a bad thing pointing to an empty thing, pointing to a deprecated thing, pointing to there's nothing. So installation, easy, no problem, except for, the SQL thing, but that was my fault. This is a point that Tina brought up because this is something that she runs into with some of the wikis that she runs. It's difficult to keep people engaged, to keep the wikis fresh. And eventually they get stale to the point where it's more of a pain to keep using them, and they just get thrown out or left to die slowly. And yeah, so I'm not here just to complain. I have learned a whole bunch in the last 2 days. This has been amazing. I do like MediaWiki. I really do. But it takes a bit to get used to. It takes a bit to get into the mindset. And Tina's run into this not just with me, but with some of the people that she works with and with me. But also, I've run into it with people that I've tested it with. Documentation. Everybody's talked about it. That's kind of the kicker here. And how can people help? I had a discussion at lunch over how do I get in touch with the Wikimedia or with the Wikimedia people? How do you bring something forward? If you don't know how do you do it? And then, I wish somebody told me about this 6 months ago, but no one did.
I didn't. That's my fault.
It is their fault. And yes, so any questions, or feel free to, throw things at Tina.
Now that you've gone through all this and solved it once, if you did have any of your old notes to look through, just like what's online publicly, how much faster do you think it would be installing this?
About from bare metal, about half an hour.
as opposed to
Now, keep in
half an
mind,
hour
he's
faster,
probably
or it would
installed
be half
this
an hour?
obsessively 10 times at least since then. Like, he's
Yes.
on a single, and then this is the second time.
Yeah,
Right, you say it's half an hour faster?
no, half an hour straight.
Okay. So it's good.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you didn't know how to reach out to foundation or
Yes.
stakeholders. Do you know now, or still?
We have an idea. I heard of something called Fabricator. So, yes,
I wouldn't necessarily suggest that is actually the right answer though.
but it's an answer,
So
which I didn't have.
it depends on what you want. Fabricators, if you have like there's a bug or something you want changed, and like there's no argument that it's like a bug or like the fabricator's not for questions. It's for like this is clearly wrong. Someone needs to change it. For every question there, then it goes to you have, you know, to be honest with you, not going to sugarcoat it, lots of questions. But like if you have like concerns that are more of a question nature, fabricator's not the right place.
Okay.
Better place is like Project Support Desk on MediaWiki.org or Discord or IRC or whatever chat platform.
The element chat.
Okay.
Element also is, I mean, it doesn't matter. There's different groups of people on each one.
Right.
All of them have at least someone who knows something.
That's okay.
I think my follow-up question. Sorry. What I'm curious is the onboard process. It was like painful, and not knowing where to find help is, I think, a big concern for us. So, yeah, I just want to. So you knew about Fabricator and how you reached that, because you had someone to tell you where you could go, or you just were skimming through the documentation video.
No, I just heard about Fabricator at lunch today.
Yeah, right.
So,
So
But
you
again,
didn't
partly
learn
this was-
before. You had to come to conference.
yeah.
And this is partly though because he would have probably done different troubleshooting if I wasn't there to give him partial and sometimes wrong answers. Like, so sometimes having someone helping you out who knows some but not all is worse than having to go and Google it, whatever.
So if you would do it all over again.
Yep.
Would you consider using NASA?
See, there's another slide that should go on here where afterwards you say, I don't understand why you spent so much time working on this. Look at Docker. Look at Blue Spice. And
No, Docker we discussed.
The thing is that I looked on the presentation, I'm like, I think Canasta resolves this.
Yep.
For the Debian one, I think that's particularly egregious, but I agree that is ridiculous that they force you against your will to have it, and they tell you to not edit this file, and you're like, fuck this, I'm editing this file. That's what you do. But I checked on Canasta. If you want to, we add a Powered by Canasta icon at the bottom, but it says right here, if you would like to remove this Canasta link from Wiki, simply delete this file.
Yep, it's fine. I just reached out to the maintainer of the Debian package, so they know about it now.
But
So the solution is go to the MW comment.
Yeah.
just switch to Canasta, you won't have to deal with it.
you know, it is very important. It is appealing.
I mean,
Another solution would have been the reason why it was the icon was showing up even after you deleted it from your local settings is because it was being set in a callback that was run after your settings were run.
Yes.
So if you had wrapped your like unset command in an extension function, it would
How do okay. Yes.
Two comments from the live stream. One, Bernhard says you will love Fabricator would be laughing so high. And the other one, Megan says MediaWicker with the heart. MediaWicker is if I recall correctly from previous conversations with Megan, it is a plugin for the Sublime Text Editor. And so what she does is using that plugin, you can edit the files that contain the content for your wiki pages on your host. And then when you save the file, it uploads it to the wiki. So that would help with your problem of
Nice.
losing. So she uses
Thank you.
MediaWicker a lot. So.
All right. We're done. So, anyways, thanks. Yes.